So I'm really excited to see her out here. Please get up for Jennifer Ferranter!
It's been so long I didn't know where to find the mic, eh? How's everybody doing? Yeah, this is my first time back at Swizzles since being in the hospital. My car exploded and I've got a concussion, and they put me in the psych ward. They must have been on to me. I kept trying to tell them that they were holding me against my will, but it turns out I have multiple personality disorder, so they were only holding me against a fraction of my will. I've never been very good at math, but I guess that's the cutoff. Since being out of the hospital, it feels like everything is new and strange. I feel like Bambi on new legs running out of the forest, but instead of running away from a forest fire, I'm running into the dumpster fire of 2023. Am I right? Is it just me, or has this year gone to total shit? Have you seen the prices at the grocery store? Every time I go in there, I feel like I still have a fucking concussion. But as much as everything has changed, one thing stays the same. You want to know what it is? Yeah. White people. Yeah, I see you're all still camped out here on my land. Surprise, surprise. It's like Trudeau made a new treaty saying, I'll give you back Sophie, but I'm keeping the land. It's okay. You know, reconciliation isn't going so well, but I have a plan to help it out tonight. Swizzles, reconciliation starts tonight. You guys can all transfer me your mortgage deeds before the end of the show. Let's be honest, it's Swizzles on a Monday night. Nobody owns property here. You can put something in the pay what you can jar. I'll lock the door till you decide. How's that feel for oppression? But if this is making anyone uncomfortable, just know that it's okay to laugh. If you work for the federal government, I won't tell your boss. And if you laugh, I'll buy you a drink with my settlement money. See, reconciliation is a two-way street. Underneath it are thousands of dead Indigenous kids, but it's a two-way street. The other week, I ran into my ex-boyfriend with a new girl at the grocery store, which was a surprise to me because he just abandoned me while I was in the hospital. I was about to send out a missing persons report, but my friend tells me not to worry about it. She says it just means I'm meant for other things. By now, as a 43-year-old single mom, I assume those other things are loneliness, depression, crippling arthritis, and a side of Voltaire. I used to be married once, but it turns out he's further back in the closet than my size 5 jeans. And let's face it, neither one of those are coming out anytime soon. You know, I do have kids though. I call them the tornado. I used to, because it's like a tornado's gone through my house twice every time. Potty training them was fun. A friend of mine gave me a book called Diaper-Free Potty Training, where apparently if you love your kid enough and you hold it close enough, you can just feel when it needs to go to the washroom. So you never need diapers. Yeah, this bitch didn't have twins. But I figured, I'm an emo kid at heart. I like to torture myself. I'll give it a try. So there was my daughter saying, Mommy, Mommy, poo-poo potty. So I put her on the toilet. And then she says, no poo-poo, no potty. But at this point, I can kind of smell it. So I'm like, I'll just leave her there a little longer. She says, no poo-poo, no potty, and she points at the door. I turn to the door, and sure enough, there's the other half of the dynamic duo with a giant man-sized shit on the floor behind her. It was so big, I thought it had to be the dog's. I was about to yell at the dog, and the motherfucker comes running up the stairs and starts eating the shit. So I've got one kid screaming on the toilet, one with a half a log of shit still dangling in the hallway, and I'm desperately trying to get the shit out of the dog's mouth. That was my foray into single parenting. Needless to say, I burned that book and I blocked that bitch on social media. But you know, I do love my kids, though sometimes I question their intellectual ability. My daughter asked to go to the neighborhood kids lemonade stand. I gave her a toonie. When she came back, I said, how much was it? She goes, Mom, it was 50 cents, but she gave it to me for a toonie. Fuck. I can't say much for her math skills. Gonna need a tutor for sure. But I will say, that neighborhood kid is going places. Most likely prison. I can't decide if I should tell her to stop hanging out with them, or I should try to convince the two of them to start stealing catalytic converters together. Also put the kids in French immersion to give them a jump on the langue de français. But they were having a real hard time with it and they needed some encouragement. So naturally, being the wonderful parent that I am, I resort to bribery. I said, if you stay in French immersion till high school, I'll take you to Paris. They both stopped and looked at me and said, Mom, we want to go to Quebec. That's brain damage, right? I looked at them and I said, don't be silly. Remember when Mommy starts swearing all the time and the road gets really bumpy? We've already been to Quebec. Last fall, I got to go to New Orleans to do some stand-up comedy. It was really great, but I flew Spirit Air. Don't do that. I realize now that they call it Spirit Air because you're 90% more likely to meet the spirit world before you get to your fucking destination. That's as close as I'm going to come to a 9/11 joke. There was a plane in there, okay? Anyway, that's my time. Thank you guys so much.